that this was a Glock conversion kit for a bullpup setup.
Is it a difficult question to understand?
Well,
a monolithic pick rail up at the top, and it's made out of quality components, and it seems to function amazing.
Shall not be infringed, and the word infringe means by banning parts on firearms actually is against the Constitution.
And within less than 15 minutes, you can walk out the front door here with a rifle or a shotgun.
To run enhanced background checks on young people under 21 trying to buy a firearm.
Transforms a traditional Glock or similar pistol into a carbine with an actual 16-inch barrel.
The injunction is unlikely to prevent the ATF from enforcing the rule nationally after a grace period that ended May 31st, but Glock had its own plan. ATF's pistol brace rule. A federal appeals court has temporarily blocked the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, ATF, from fully enforcing a new rule regulating guns equipped with pistol braces, a popular accessory used in recent mass shootings. The Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals granted the injunction on May 23rd in response to a court challenge attempting to block enforcement of the ATF's rule. Pistol braces are popular accessories intended to increase the accuracy and stability of AR-15 style pistols. The rule requires owners of the devices to remove and destroy the accessories or register the braced firearms with the ATF as short-barreled rifles. Until May 31, registration was free, but going forward, registration will require a $200 stamp. The court's injunction appears to only block enforcement against the plaintiffs in Mock v. Garland, which includes William Mock and Christopher Lewis, Maxim Defense, and the Firearms Policy Coalition. The court also applies to members of the coalition and customers of Maximum Defense. The rulings are a significant blow to the ATF's plans to regulate pistol braces, but they are not national injunctions and have only been issued by courts in the conservative Fifth Circuit. The agency is still able to carry out enforcement against other owners and sellers of pistol-braced firearms. The Department of Justice and ATF declined to respond to questions from the Trace seeking clarification over whether the appeals court order would affect its plans to enforce the rule. So what if you own one? The new ATF rule, regardless of its merits regarding the regulations of guns with pistol braces, is going into effect, and federal judges have only granted holds to those who challenge the rule's constitutionality. Individuals who have not removed or registered their braces could potentially face up to 10 years in prison, a fine of $10,000, or both. People visiting the store express fear and concern, stating that they have never had any legal issues before and now they might become felons. Assistance is provided by Delbert at the store to help individuals with the paperwork required for registering their braced firearms. He has even set up an in-store kiosk for submitting the necessary forms. However, he emphasizes that Ohio residents must understand the restrictions imposed by this decision.
Blatantly denying the power grab being carried out by the executive branch yet again.
The uptick in violence has just been astronomical. The gun violence.
As a kid, I came out of a different movement, the civil rights movement.
Who showed up here said one thing that felt good about doing this kind of event was that they felt empowered.
Pretty clear about the extent to which this is an abuse of the Administrative Procedures Act.
Is it a difficult question to understand?
Well,
I'm sure it's enormously high.
It's 36 per 100,000 people.
I just felt that I needed to be able to protect myself.
Under the National Firearms Act, firearms covered by the Act cannot be carried concealed or kept loaded within the driver's reach in a vehicle. These firearms cannot be sold to individuals who haven't fulfilled the NFA requirements, which can take up to a year. The ATF must be notified prior to the firearm crossing state lines, and the gun cannot be used if the owner is not present. Delbert explains that even if a spouse picks up the firearm for self-defense while the owner is absent, it would be a violation of federal law. He further highlights that NFA guns are more challenging to own and to sell. Owners who do not wish to navigate these requirements must permanently remove their braces so that they cannot be reattached or replace the barrel with one that is at least 16 inches long, as stated in the ATF's final rule. The only exception to these regulations is arm braces without a buttstock that can be shouldered like a rifle. Why were pistol braces invented? Pistol braces were invented to provide a solution for individuals who needed additional stability and support when using a pistol. The concept of a pistol brace originated from the desire to aid individuals with physical disabilities or injuries that affected their ability to handle and control a handgun effectively. Traditionally, handguns are designed to be fired with one hand, and they lack the stability and accuracy of long guns such as rifles or shotguns. However, some individuals, such as veterans with combat-related injuries or people with disabilities, may find it challenging to handle a handgun securely due to limited strength, dexterity, or mobility. This limitation can impact their ability to defend themselves or engage in recreational shooting activities. Recognizing this need, inventors and firearm enthusiasts began exploring ways to enhance stability and control for pistols. The result was the development of pistol braces. These devices are typically attached to the rear of a pistol, providing a support mechanism that can be strapped or braced against the forearm. Now, the primary purpose of a pistol brace is to allow the shooter to stabilize a pistol using the arm, thus increasing accuracy and control. By effectively redistributing the weight and recoil forces across the arm, a brace can help shooters maintain a more consistent grip and sight alignment, especially during rapid or sustained fire. Another significant advantage of pistol braces is that they provide a more comfortable shooting experience. The added support reduces fatigue and mitigates the impact of recoil, making shooting sessions more enjoyable and less physically demanding. This is particularly important for individuals with physical limitations, as it allows them to participate in shooting activities with greater ease and less discomfort. Moreover, pistol braces offer an alternative to the traditional stock found on rifles. While rifles with stocks are subject to more stringent regulations, pistols equipped with braces often fall into a different legal category, providing individuals with a more accessible and less restricted option for personal defense or recreational shooting. The development and popularity of pistol braces gained significant traction with the advancements in firearm technology and the rise of the AR-15 platform. AR-15 pistols, compact variants of the popular rifle, became increasingly popular among gun enthusiasts due to their maneuverability and versatility. Pistol braces became a natural accessory choice for AR-15 pistols, allowing users to harness the benefits of stability and control while maintaining the compact form factor.
So the third party can either keep them in trust or sell them and give the money to Mr. Henderson.
James commented on the decision, saying she's pleased. Remember, the law as it stands strengthens requirements.
And in many cases, the value of the firearms can be quite high.
Today, for the most significant law to be passed since then, for the last 30 years.
And prohibits guns in sensitive places and requires background checks on all ammunition purchases.
Statute means what it says. It says that a convicted felon cannot possess a firearm.
I'd like to thank the leaders and members of the House and Senate for working together to get this done. I especially want to thank the families.
It doesn't say he can't sell a firearm that the government is possessing on his behalf.
However, it is essential to note that the use of pistol braces has been subject to debate and regulatory scrutiny. Concerns have been raised that some individuals might exploit the brace's design and configuration to effectively convert a pistol into a short-barreled rifle, which is subject to additional regulations and restrictions. As a result, regulatory agencies such as the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives have periodically reviewed and issued guidelines regarding the proper use and classification of pistol braces. The ATF's rulings and interpretations have been a subject of contention among firearm owners and advocates, leading to ongoing discussions about the rights and limitations associated with pistol brace usage. Opposition of gun rights advocates. Gun rights advocates are often against changes that impose restrictions or regulations on firearms due to a variety of reasons. These advocates strongly believe in the fundamental right to keep and bear arms as guaranteed by the Second Amendment of the United States Constitution. Gun rights advocates argue that the right to own firearms is a fundamental individual right that should not be infringed upon by the government. They believe that the Second Amendment was designed to ensure that individuals have the means to protect themselves, their families, and their property from potential threats, whether they are criminals or even tyrannical governments. A core argument made by these advocates is the right to self-defense. They argue that firearms are an essential tool for individuals to protect themselves in situations where their life or the lives of their loved ones are at risk. They believe that restrictions on firearms hinder law-abiding citizens' ability to defend themselves effectively, leaving them vulnerable to potential harm. Gun rights advocates argue that widespread gun ownership acts as a deterrent to criminals. They believe that when potential criminals are aware that citizens have the means to defend themselves, they are less likely to engage in criminal activities. They also contend that armed citizens can act as a first line of defense in situations where law enforcement may not be readily available. Many gun rights advocates are concerned that any form of gun regulation, no matter how seemingly minor, can set a precedent for further restrictions on firearms in the future.
And having to tell her that other 9-year-olds were just killed in a shooting is horrific.
Get on the ground now!
I'm a federal agent.
917-110-3.
I'm a
federal agent.
Get on the ground!
Real background checks could stop a lot of illegal guns going in different places in the country.
Shall not be infringed, and the word infringe means by banning parts on firearms actually is against the Constitution.
Affect us here, and you know, it was such a breath of fresh air for the Second Amendment people.
It takes extraordinary courage for them to stand up here and retell the story.
Anti-gunners put in there to keep the guns out of the hands of lawful citizens in New York State.
They fear that what begins as a seemingly reasonable regulation can gradually erode the rights of law-abiding gun owners, leading to a gradual erosion of the Second Amendment. Some gun right advocates question the effectiveness of additional regulations, arguing that they primarily impact law-abiding citizens rather than criminals who obtain firearms illegally. They argue that criminals, by definition, do not abide by laws and will always find ways to acquire firearms regardless of the regulations in place. They believe that imposing additional restrictions primarily burdens responsible gun owners without significantly impacting crime rates. Firearms hold cultural and historical significance for many gun rights advocates. They view firearms as a symbol of independence, self-reliance, and personal freedom, deeply rooted in American history and values. They argue that the right to own and use firearms is intertwined with the nation's identity and should be preserved as an essential part of American heritage. ATF stabilizing brace rule. Gun owners and dealers possessing a pistol with a pistol brace on it that allows the weapon to be fired from the shoulder have the following options. Remove the short barrel and attach one 16 inches or longer. Submit an E-Form 1 or Paper Form 1 to register the firearm as a short-barreled rifle under the NFA by May 31st, 2023. Remove the brace so that it cannot be reattached, forfeit the firearm to a local ATF office, or destroy it. Pistol braces for disabled shooters that conform to the arm and do not act as a buttstock that can be shouldered like a rifle are not affected by this rule. This was the history and working of ATF. Now let's move towards Glocks, Game Changer, which also came with the solution to these ATF rules.
That requirement for showing a heightened need for self-defense, that was the teeth of these permitting laws.
And within less than 15 minutes, you can walk out the front door here with a rifle or a shotgun.
American citizens in places like New Orleans and Baltimore and St. Louis begin to seek asylum in countries like Honduras and Guatemala.
I don't know if you're referring to any particular incident.
Meadow Tactical Apex. Bullpup your Glock. The Meadow Tactical Apex Carbine Conversion Kit looks like it came right out of Battlestar Galactica. What exactly are you looking at? Well, it's a rifle made with a Glock at its core. It's a carbine conversion kit that allows you to turn your Glock firearm into a rifle, not just Glocks too. Meadow Tactical makes this kit for S&W M&P pistols and P80 style Glock clones as well. The kit is a combination of the stock system mixed with a 16-inch barrel. The Meadow Tactical Apex kit first premiered at SHOT, where it caught many people's eye. It looked downright neat. Why the Meadow Tactical Apex kit? Here in the comments now, but why? Honestly, it won't be for everyone. If you already dislike PCCs, then you can move on. For some fans, the biggest reason why is because PCCs in bullpup formats are not exactly common, and they certainly are not cheap. Admittedly, if you purchase a $500 Glock and the $600 Apex kit, then it doesn't seem very cheap either. However, if you already have a Glock for handgun purposes, the cost of ownership isn't bad. It's cheaper than the Scorpion option and easier to find than the Jard. Another reason is modularity. Who doesn't love modularity? You can turn your handgun into a rifle and back again without much difficulty. Even though it is a rifle, it's not much bigger than a braced pistol. The Apex kit is only 23.25 inches with the stock fully collapsed and 27 inches with the stock deployed. The weight of an Apex kit is 4.85 pounds with the Glock in place and unloaded. Last but not least, Glock isn't going to give us a rifle anytime soon. Dropping in the Glock. To complete the Apex kit, place the Glock inside the case. After you have reinserted the firing pin into the kit, you can now close the back of the rifle. To put it simply, that's all there is to it. The process of using the kit only requires dropping in and dropping out. It is quite easy to do, and the entire time required to do it is approximately 2 minutes. The barrel is a part of the package that you will receive, and it has a threaded piece measuring 1.5 by 28 that can be used to attach muzzle devices. The gadget that is provided with the purchase is a flash suppressor. Because of the design of the Apex, it is not compatible with a wide variety of muzzle devices. This is one of the pistol's drawbacks, due to the fact that the principle of short recoil is sensitive to weight. Certain devices that can be utilized on PCCs cannot be used on the Apex, including, but sadly not limited to, suppressors. When you are finished installing the barrel, you will need to click a small button that is located on the underside of the chassis. Because of this, you are able to lever the back end upward. After reaching this point, you will need to press out a captive firing pin and then slide the Glock into place. After that, you position the firing pin such that it covers the trigger. Your Glock pistol's trigger is pulled back when the trigger linkage presses this pin, which in turn causes the trigger to be pulled. And after that, you simply close the rear portion that has a hinge and you're good to go.
To run enhanced background checks on young people under 21 trying to buy a firearm.
This government can protect its own people, except for 36 out of every 100,000 for murders.
Types of disputes that would be settled by people yelling at each other, maybe engaging in a fist fight, are being settled with guns.
I'm just inspired by the next generation. I think it's a time for a big change.
Since you rewrote the rules of asylum based on the perceived degree of violence in these countries.
Selling more guns in the last 3 weeks than we did in the last 8 months.
But for me, and for most of you, here's what it really is. It's an important first step.
When somebody bump fires, think of this as a bump fire stock and able to move.
To be clear, this wasn't based on violence. This is based on threats specifically to individuals, on gangs.
Dissecting the Meta Tactical Apex Kit. The Meta Tactical Apex Kit is filled with modern features. Across the top is one long Picatinny optics rail with tons of space for goodies. Red dots are the usual, but 12 o'clock lights will fit without issue. The gun is outfitted with a non-reciprocating ambidextrous charging handle. The handguard features M-lock slots along the slides, and at the bottom of the handguard, there is an optional foregrip that also acts as a spare mag holder that attaches directly to the M-lock rails. The mag release on a Glock isn't ambidextrous, but it is reversible. The mag release on the Apex is set to work with either a right or left-handed mounted mag release. The stock has 6 different positions, and when it's completely collapsed, it's really too short for most users, and it covers the slide lock. Ergonomics matter. One of the biggest issues with Glock chassis kits is that the ergonomics are often a compromise. It doesn't necessarily feel that way with the Apex. It has a ton of high points and one point I'd consider somewhat low. The charging handle is huge, and it's nice that it doesn't reciprocate. The handguard is polymer, but heavily textured and easy to grip.
Transforms a traditional Glock or similar pistol into a carbine with an actual 16-inch barrel.
It's really high quality. It's this polymer frame, but it's done really, really, really well.
And then it slides the action back behind the new trigger guard linkage.
The lines are really clean. As you can see, there are a lot of bolts and stuff like that.
And allows it to be incredibly compact and very nimble. It also has an adjustable stock.
Rigid and sturdy is not the right word, but this gun doesn't feel flimsy. It doesn't feel like something that's kind of a cheap toy.
A monolithic pick rail up at the top, and it's made out of quality components, and it seems to function amazing.
The rear pistol grip is AR compatible, so you can toss your favorite AR grip on it if you so choose to. The stock allows the gun to fit the largest of shooters. That stock provides a nice cheek weld at every position. The mag release is simple, but the big button sends the mag out the bottom with ease. Bullpup reloads can be slow, but the Apex kit makes it pretty intuitive. Reach back with the reverse grip and hit the release, and you're gold. The one downside is the slide lock. Part of that stock bar blocks access to the release unless it's a few clicks out. If it's on the first few settings, you can't reach the slide lock release easily. With the stock opened, it's easy to access and drop the slide, although reloads are faster with the charging handle. At the range, none of the above matters if the gun doesn't function properly, right? It'd be easy to compromise reliability. Fortunately, the Meta Tactical Apex kit is well designed, featuring a massive ejection port that ensures reliable feeding. There were no issues with the Meta Tactical Apex kit in terms of reliability. There was only a minor problem with one ETS mag where the follower occasionally got stuck. However, this issue is unrelated to the gun or the kit itself, but rather due to the mag's frequent abuse. The gun functions flawlessly without any complaints. The trigger is something that piques everyone's curiosity. Initially, it is expected to be a weak point. However, it's actually pleasantly surprising to find that the trigger is actually quite decent. It may not be exceptional, but considering it's a bullpup trigger connecting to another trigger, it's impressive. In fact, it's even better than the stock trigger on the Scorpion, if that provides any context. Most PCCs are direct blowback guns, and that creates a sharp recoil impulse. The Apex kit uses a Glock, and Glock uses a short recoil mechanism. That's in play here, and it creates very little recoil and very little muzzle rise. It's easier to control and softer shooting than most blowback PCCs. Regarding accuracy, the Meta Tactical Apex kit delivered impressive results. With a Holosun 510C optic mounted and a quick zeroing process, the gun exhibited tight shooting groups. According to the testers, it was easy to achieve a one-hole size group at 25 yards, and consistently hitting a 4-inch gong was not a challenge. Furthermore, even at a distance of 100 yards, they experienced no difficulties placing 9mm rounds into the A and C zones of an IPSC target while shooting offhand.
It does give you the feeling that this is a very uniform platform.
This new release is awesome because it utilizes the Palmetto State Armory dagger, which is an affordable Glock 19 clone.
That this was a Glock conversion kit for a bullpup setup.
We had for as little as $270 and in some cases $250.
Honestly wouldn't know. This looks like it's its own platform.
Standard Gen 3 Glock 17. It was 100% functional, plenty accurate for its intended purposes.
Downsides to the Apex. You can't use a suppressor, but that's really it. The Meta-Tactical Apex kit is, without a doubt, the best Glock chassis kit out there. It's impressive in its own right. The Apex kit is an awesome way to double the use of your Glock and is one of the best bullpup PCC options out there. Overall review. The bullpup conversion stock and drop-in assembly are incredibly simple, and the kit is not subject to any NFA violations or rules. The kit is a normal rifle and all rifle laws apply. The conversion kit offers enhanced ergonomics, a more stable shooting platform, and the ease of adding optics. It also provides increased muzzle velocity and better ballistic performance similar to a .357 Magnum out of a 9mm. Meta-Tactical has created a coupon code, 704TACTICAL, to get 10% off the price of the kit, which comes out to about $599 before the code, and about $540 after the code. The kit is currently knocking off the tax and shipping, and they're also including a free range bag with the first 200 orders. The setup is easy to install, and the chassis system is more reliable than other chassis system platforms due to a hook system in the front to press the slide backwards, allowing for a non-reciprocating charging handle. The kit comes with a muzzle device and a thread protector on the 16-inch barrel, but these are not standard 1.5x20 or 1.5x28 threads. This is a proprietary thread that they are not releasing as they don't want to suppress it as of yet. The barrel has to tilt and actuate to function correctly, and it can't cycle. This version is not going to be suppressed, and you can't swap out muzzle devices other than the flash hider or thread protector. While both options are good options, this is not something you're going to suppress right out of the gate. The CQB rifle is an incredibly ergonomic and polymer design with an aluminum monolithic pick rail in the top section for attaching optics over the entire span of the rifle. This allows for multiple points of contact and can be used with various light combos. The trigger is plastic, but it has held up well, making it lightweight and easy to fit on the frame. It also features M-LOK attachments on the side and bottom, allowing for the attachment of lights and accessories. The rearward portion of the firearm includes a simple push-button safety, which is fairly ergonomic and allows for easy gun control. The pivot location snaps into place, and the pin that you would press in to actuate the trigger is a funky one on camera. The mag release feature is innovative, but simple cuts in the polymer itself and large texturing, making it easier to actuate the mag. The butt pad is rubberized rather than polymer, and it rides on two aluminum rail systems. It bolts in solid and constrained on the top, ensuring stability and no wobble or play. The stock has a nice cheek weld, preventing any pulls from your beard hairs. The bullpup conversion kit offers multiple lengths of pull and a fully extended overall length of 26 inches. This allows for a stable and nimble package inside and around a vehicle, personal defense, or home. The action is behind the trigger, allowing for a good compact package while still having a higher velocity of a 16-inch barrel equivalent to a .357 Magnum. However, some downfalls include the need to swap out the barrel to drop it back to a handgun and vice versa. Assembly takes only about 2 minutes or 1 minute depending on how fast you are swapping out a Glock barrel, so it's not a big deal. Overall, the CQB rifle is an excellent choice for those who want a versatile and efficient CQB rifle that can be used in various situations. The author is a huge fan of the bullpup chassis system and is excited to see its progress. The system is highly accurate at 50 yards, hitting 8-inch or 10-inch steel plates without issues. The fork design in the front of the slide makes it more reliable. The tighter tolerances of the Precision Machine Glock slide make it more reliable. The system is compatible with traditional Glock 17 and aftermarket Glock 17 slides, and it works perfectly with Callaway Ballistics 115 grain, 147 grain, Toll Ammo steel cased, and AAC ammunition. The round count on the platform with the traditional Glock 17 Generation 3 is about 350 to 400 rounds, but close to 500 rounds total through the system to get the ergonomic feel. However, with the basic Glock 17 with no modifications to the Glock itself, it was 100% functional for about 350 to 400 rounds straight, with both 147 and 115 grain ammo. This reliability and interface with the system make it a great choice for those looking for increased muzzle velocity. The only immediate downside is the $540 cost, which is a bit pricey compared to other systems on the market. However, the technology is there, and the secondary barrel in the setup is not just the bullpup chassis system. Should you buy? If you want to deceive ATF and its rules, then yes, you should buy one because it's the best option available on the market, plus it's a huge slap in ATF's face with all these features. And that's all for this video, folks. We'll see you next time at the next one.